this is me. Last year, living out a childhood dream of mine. And in this moment, I thought I was gonna have it all figured out. I was like, if you have a TED Talk, you can do anything now, right? Like nothing's in your way. But what I actually kind of realized in this moment was that it actually didn't feel like what I thought it would. And I began to think, perhaps happiness isn't the destination, maybe it's the journey after all. Yes, we're going deep here this morning, ladies and gentlemen. And so this is taking us back a little before the dream began. All right, so this is my mom, Lucille. Can we give a little shout out to moms everywhere? Yeah, give me a woo if you love moms. Right? And if you didn't guess, that little Annie haircut redhead, yeah, that's me. I had that for a long time, everyone. And my mom actually was the one who introduced me to TED Talks. She was a school teacher for a very long time, her whole career. And actually getting ready for this talk, she even shared with me what she found the other day, her list of talks she used to use in her classroom. It's an old spreadsheet, so I love everyone. So if you want my mom's list of old TED Talks, I can give them to you later. But so as a kid, I really was someone who was really curious, pretty loud. I was into acting and improv and public speaking, but I still really didn't realize that it was a skill that was special. Like I just kind of thought it was something that you did. So this is me in a boat, and this is for a rainbow. Yeah, wow, tea. Okay. No, what I'm sharing is a reason because as a kid, I talked too much. And so much so that like I was too loud in public. I definitely lost every fight to my brother because I was the loud one who drew all the attention, right? So like he could have done the worst thing. But when I started yelling, then I'm the one who got disciplined. Did anyone else have that? At least a few. Okay, yeah, thank you. I'm not alone. And so this one time we were in a boat at the cabin, and I guess my parents' friends had been tired of me talking too much because they told me they'd give me $5 if I could stop talking the entire boat ride back to the cabin. Needless to say, after about 5 minutes, I declared, "What's the point of living if I can't talk?" I'm still talking today, if you weren't sure about that. So fast forward to adulthood, and I began being asked to speak on stages around the world. Mostly I was moderating, emceeing. This is me interviewing the CEO of a really big company in Brazil. But it took me a very, very long time, even doing this stuff, again, to like understand that this wasn't just something that everyone could do. I just thought, well, like everyone who's got good energy, can do this. And if they're not gonna invite me, they're just gonna invite somebody else, right? Like I really, truly thought that for a really long time. And so people would ask me, why have you not yet applied to do a TED Talk? Because people around me knew it was a dream I had for a really long time. And I would say, yeah, but like, I'm not a specialist in one thing enough, or I just really don't have the right idea to go forward with that. Like they're not gonna pick me, why would it be me? So even when I was on stages like this, is about like 10,000 people in this audience here, goes way back what you can't see, and I still was saying sentences like that. So if any of you have ever doubted yourself, please use this as a bit of an example. If people are asking you something, maybe there's a reason behind it. So finally, in 2020, I was working on a really cool project at an organization with some people in this room. And so I knew I had a really good idea. It was a really important work that we were doing. And so I got the confidence up and I applied. And, drum roll, I was actually selected. But then this happened. And it was taken away. And we couldn't tell anyone because there's a certain point in the marketing process where you're allowed to tell the world. And we hadn't gotten to that point yet. And so nobody knew that I'd been selected, this dream of mine. That felt like it was in the palm of my hand and then essentially got taken away. And so then it was 4 years of really wondering if the event would ever come back, if we would get that opportunity again. We definitely spiraled into this like what if land. What if I had only applied a year sooner, then I could have this talk already? What if we just bribed the committee to do the event virtually at least, and then we'd at least have the video, and then we could still have something, and it wouldn't be in person, but we'd still get to do it. That didn't happen. And my favorite was, what if they never bring TEDx Winnipeg back, and I never get the chance, and then instead I just get 10 cats and I shrivel up and I die alone. It was very logical thinking during the pandemic. So fast forward, 4 years later, TEDx Winnipeg applications reopened. Ta-da! And after 4 years, basically, of iterating and talking to friends and wondering if my idea was still right, because I had changed my path in life a little bit, I took the chance to apply with a whole different idea. So some people applied with their same idea from 4 years before. Some people reapplied and didn't make it. This is us. This is me at the pitches. You can see in small font there. It says February 17th pitches. And so it was as intimidating as you think. This day, actually, they've shortlisted, so people they like, but they're still not down to the number they need to get to. And you come and you get 2 minutes to pitch in front of everyone else who is also pitching. So you see your competition, and then in front of the committee, and yeah, it's definitely intimidating. And actually, this is a fun fact. You can see here on all the screens, I'm not actually standing on the red circle because I was worried I would jinx it. I'm standing in front of it in that picture. Yeah, I didn't touch it until today. And anyway, so then I was indeed selected a second time, and now you would think this is this moment of like calling my mom an ugly, crying that we did it, Mom, since you introduced Miss Ken and now we're here. And I didn't actually do that. This is what I did. I just hunkered down. I now was into the next phase of overthinking things. It was, I need to now draft my script and then iterate my script and then get people to look at it, right? And then we need slides. I said, oh my God, did you do slides? Because I don't really do slides. Okay, there's all these things I have to do. Like I was reading TED books and downloading articles and like I have every medium around me. There's more that we can't see in this picture. Because you just start to worry about whatever the next thing is. And I was worried that it would be taken away again, right? And so I didn't really want to celebrate and tell people because we had it taken away once. And that was this like fear and feeling that some of us had. Well, at least I had. And so we got to work. It was like 6 months of refining and rehearsing and getting down to the spot that we needed to be in. And then as you got closer, there were different worries. It was, okay, they picked me, but what if my talk isn't good enough? Or what if I don't like fulfill this idea? And because like what Jane said in my introduction, now I finally did see myself as someone who had some confidence on stage. So now I was worried I wouldn't fulfill people's expectations of me in this particular forum that I really found important, right? So then the day finally came. Here it is, me on stage. You saw the picture already. This is the nerves and the thrill of it and this feeling of finally standing on that red circle. But I have a fun fact for you. I don't actually remember delivering my talk. Yeah, I've heard about that happening to people, but I had never had that happen to me. I remember like walking out on stage. I remember to my left, there were friends screaming for me in the audience. I remember taking a deep breath. And then I remember delivering the ending and going, oh my God, I'm delivering the ending. If I'm delivering the ending, then what happened to the middle of the talk? Did I not say my whole talk? Wait, okay, I think I'm just done, so I'm done, so my slides are done. Okay, they told me smile before you leave, like take a deep breath so they can like, take you in when you're done. So I took my deep breath and smiled and then whacked off and went, did I do it? Did I do it? Lucky for me, I did do it. So I actually ended up with the best possible scenario. My talk was picked as an editor's pick, and it got more than 30,000 views in the first week. So all of that stress and hard work seemingly was worth it. However, I will tell you that the next thing that happened was an unexpected reality. I had spent so much time climbing this mountain that when I reached the top, I didn't really know how to enjoy it. I was already kind of like before when I finally got it, I was already thinking like, what's next? What do I have to do? Because now you're kind of thinking, okay, I have this thing. How do I capitalize on it, right? So there's always the next thing. What did 30,000 views even mean? Like, it didn't mean money. There's no money involved with TED at all, if you didn't know. Some people ask me that. There never is, no matter what you do with your talk. And also, it wasn't 1 million followers all of a sudden. I woke up the next day, and that existed, that thing you just saw with the views, but I was still me, right? And so I think though, like some part of me certainly had anticipated that things would change because it was this dream for so long. I really did think there'd be like some kind of tangible outcome. And I'm not really sure I knew what that was, but I was expecting something, right? You just wake up, you're like, that's in my bed still. And I still don't have cats, but I'm a house. Okay, so the lesson here, I guess, was that achieving your dream doesn't solve everything. In fact, it often leaves you asking even bigger, scarier questions. When you get to that high, peak, it's that kind of old adage of you get to the top and then you realize there's another mountain behind it that you just couldn't see until you got there, So, well, remember this talkative little girl? You can tell which one's me. Yes, picture. Well, she grew up and she turned her flaw, talking to everyone, into her biggest strength. So that same girl can now confidently say that the journey to the TEDx stage gave me more than I bargained for. It gave me the realization that persistence is more important than the perfection. So to start before you have something totally in place. It gave me a sense of joy in the process, not just in that destination. And it also helped me to stop and appreciate the small and big wins along the way, because I was really bad at that, and I'm still trying to remember to do that and not just go, okay, yeah, that's cool, but like, what are we doing now with it, right? I still do a lot of that, so working on that. And my favorite, Jane doesn't know this was in here, but my favorite thing that it taught me was it offered me a deepened relationship with my very good friend Jane, who was there through the whole process with me, because she was doing a TED Talk at the same time that is also an editor's pick, which is a great testament to how you can lift each other up so much. And so it just deepened our friendship even more. And clearly, as you saw with my introduction, she's still there beside me today. Yes. Today, everyone. And so what's the secret? Well, the things that we didn't understand about ourselves as kids, maybe they're just the keys to what make us remarkable. And we should embrace them. Because, like in my case, maybe they'll take you around the world, that flaw that you had when you tried to get $5 to stop talking. And if I've learned anything else, it's that happiness isn't that red dot. It's not the finish line or the thing that you've been kind of like holding on to. It's kind of that long, messy journey along the way. So I ask you, what's a dream that you've been holding on to? Ideally, you don't wait for perfection, you just start, because that journey might surprise you.
I'm going to share one more thing. Today, at 10 a.m. Central Time,
I have been informed that my talk is actually going to be now on the actual TED.com.
So if you haven't watched it yet, just wait till 10 a.m. Because the new site's going to be even cooler.
They've told me this is my link. It won't be live until like 20 minutes from now. But it's a really rare honor that they moved TEDx Talks onto the TED.com. And it is a bit serendipitous because we are talking about Dre today. And Candace was saying before, like, kind of get that courage and share. And I have decided I currently have no traditional employment, and that this year I am fully leaning into speaking and event hosting as my main focus.
So it's a year of growth and new things and openness, and today, by wild chance, is the day of its start. So thank you everyone for being part of it.